Welcome to All In with Sarn Patterson. I am Sarn Patterson, and today I want to talk to you about patience. Not my patience, because sometimes I've got awesome patience, sometimes I really don't. But it's a different type of patience. Patience with ourselves. Because if you're anything like me, or you're a caring person and you want to be a good person to those around you, you tend to extend a lot of grace and a lot of patience with others when they are struggling. But when we look at ourselves, when we are struggling, when we can't quite get where we want to be as quick as we want to, we berate ourselves. I know that I do. I just get pissed. I'm like, really? Why? Why am I not getting this done now? I can do this. Do it now. And I don't give myself that time to actually learn it, to actually do it. I just expect I'm going to get it done. Why do we rush ourselves with all our struggles? Why do we push? Why is there this expectation not only for perfection, but superhuman abilities to get this done? I know a lot. I've been through a lot, and there's things that I would definitely say that I'm very competent or even very excellent in. There's plenty more that I'm not. So why would I expect myself to be amazing at something that I'm just now trying versus something that I have been doing for decades or more? There's no comparison. I didn't get to this level of competency in things overnight. So why do I expect myself to be able to do it now? And that impatience is usually a result of not surrendering to the situation that we can't fight. There's no way we can just implant that imagery in our mind. We cannot be in the matrix, jacked in, and suddenly we know Kung Fu. It just doesn't work that way. But we expect it. We expect to be Neo. We expect to be the one. And as soon as we see it, it uploads, and there we are. I can do this. That's not fair to ourselves. Because how often do we expect somebody else to do that? How often when we're trying to teach a young person or a kid how to ride their bike, how to draw, how to play music, it didn't happen overnight for them. It won't, unless they're a savant. There's definitely people out there who can, but most of us can't. So why are we patient with them but not patient with ourselves? I think another point that when I'm thinking about patience is there's very little in this world that actually needs the urgency that we ascribe to it. There's a song by Alabama that says, I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush until life's no fun. Really, what is the rush? There are certain things that have a timeline, but really, is it our personal timeline? Is it one that we expect to happen? And because we're not meeting our timeline, we get pissed off, especially when it's ourselves. We often berate ourselves. We devalue ourselves in service to speed. There was a wonderful thing that I was taught when I was a young soldier: was slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Crawl, walk, run. But crawl starts first. Babies start, and then they can roll over, and they're mobile, and then suddenly they can crawl, and then we're in the room, and then they can stand and walk, and then they're down the street suddenly. Then they get a license, and they get a car, and they're like me, and they go, hey, there's an exit I've never been on, and off we go. But it all started with the crawl, sometimes with just a rollover. And I still suffer from this myself. I want to do so much. I expect it that I can just, I'm just going to go do this. Hell, starting this channel, I had such high expectations for myself that I put it off for an entire year because I didn't feel like I was going to do it right. And I can't even tell you that every video I'm doing right now is going to be amazing. But I can hope and try and make sure each subsequent one's a little bit better. And who knows, in a year from now, what I'm doing today will be child's play, and hopefully I'll be doing better. But I have to take the road there. I don't want to spin my wheels to try to accomplish so many things and then get upset when I can't do it them all. Because was I being realistic with those tasks, with everything that I want to do? Was I really looking at my capabilities in a manner that shows who I really am? Probably not. We can't perform at that level all the time. We really can't. But we expect ourselves to. We drive ourselves to distraction, exhaustion, but not just physical exhaustion, mental and emotional exhaustion. We don't have anything left in the tank and we're pissed at ourselves because we don't. But we didn't take the time to fill the frickin' tank. We have to. We really do. We got to take that time. And one of the big ways to do that is to look at the bigger picture. Have I gone so microscopic on what I'm trying to do that I'm not seeing everything else around it? Does it need to be done this moment, this right second? Or can I give myself the same grace that I extend to others? Can I have that patience with me that I would give to you, that I gave to my soldiers once I learned to be a better leader, and didn't expect them to catch it like that? Because I tell you what, put it on the physical side of life, I gained a serious amount of weight when I retired. And it was from the pain that I was in. It was from depression. It was from the PTSD, the TBI. And I just didn't do a damn thing. I wasn't eating healthy. And I put on a lot of weight. And it took me at least a year to take it all back off and to be a healthy person. And I had to constantly remind myself that it didn't take a day to do the damage. It's going to take more than a day to undo it and make it stick. It's often those small things that trip us up. It's never the big step. But what we forget about is that big step is those smaller steps. And we can choose to focus on one specific difficulty in life, or we can look at the many other areas that are good. Just because we're struggling here in this one spot should not override everything else that we're doing well. Think of driving, rolling down the road. There's always an impatient asshole. I have been the impatient asshole at times. Excuse my language. Why? If there's traffic and you cut across 3 to 5 lanes and you get a car length ahead, you're not really making all that much work. There's a number of times now in my time when I have taken a moment and read the traffic, understood its flow, and then I moved, or I didn't move, and I stayed where I was, and I got to where I wanted to be. Heck, Mythbusters even did an episode on the best style of driving versus staying in your lane versus moving around. And more often than not, staying in your lane was the better way to be. We don't have to take a day all at once. We really don't. Sometimes it's just one step. It's one moment. It's one breath. I'm only one person. And things will get done when they get done. And sometimes it's not on my timeline that I want. Sometimes it's not even on the timeline that my wife wants. But it's on the right timeline for us to do what we can when we can. Because if we drive ourselves so hard because we can't seem to do it right the right way right now, what if we take that half step back and we breathe and give ourselves that moment, that break, that moment of grace to be, to understand that we can do it, but it's going to take a little bit longer than we want. and that it's okay. Because it really is okay. It is okay if you don't get all the dishes done. If you only get some of them done, that's more than before. If you don't get any of them done, your world is not going to end because there's dishes in the sink. Sometimes it feels that way, though. So give yourself that same grace that you want to give others. Take care of you. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.